1 in 20 people now have actually psychopathic traits. And so I just thought, if you're dating and you date 20 guys, the chances are that maybe you've actually dated a psychopath. Now, as a former FBI profiler, and you worked on a show called Am I Dating a Serial Killer?
Yes.
There was a woman that you brought on that you said that she actually didn't realize that she was dating a psychopath, but you knew. What on earth did you see that her and most of us women end up missing?
Well, this woman was dating a guy who almost immediately tried to isolate her and keep her away from her family and friends, who was overly nice about making sure that she never had to want for anything. But what he was doing was he was taking away her ability to drive, her ability to have relationships outside of his, her ability to interact with her family. He paid for her phone, so he had control over the records, so he could determine who she called and when she called and how much time she spent on it. And as she started describing things like this, immediately I said, that's coercive control. It can be incredibly insidious, but it's a pattern of behavior that typically is used by an intimate partner or family member to control, manipulate, coerce, isolate, and basically prevent their partner from having any autonomy at all. And what ends up happening is they have complete control over that person's life and is almost like a captive slave.
Classic example of this. We hear Daniel so many times being really critical of Cindy. And the way he talks about Cindy, you would think she was probably the worst mother in the entire world. Chances are this is not true. Chances are there were cracks in the relationship between Cindy and Malaya. And Daniel exploited that to the point where it eroded the relationship between Cindy and Malaya.
Things started to change when she met Daniel.
And what kind of change did you notice in her?
She started to get distance. That the last visit she had them here, that was in the summer before Jack's birthday, so that probably would have been around July or August.
Mm-hmm.
She did make the comment that it bothered Daniel coming to visit us. That he assumed that she was coming so she could run into Cody. And I thought, well, I mean, they're only young, so we made it clear that, look, if he's got a problem, bring him too.
Do you think that the reason why you haven't seen them in the last 2 years is because of that?
I do feel it's because of him. I do. I mean, she was coming all the time up until she got with him.
So naturally, the family of the former partner are going to be first in the firing line. Now, Cody wasn't living there at that point in time, and Daniel would have been full aware of that. But that wouldn't have mattered to him. In his mind, it was still a connection with Cody while she was still visiting Belinda and her family.
It broke my heart when her and Cody didn't work. They were my picture-perfect family. It broke my heart. And Malaya made me feel it was okay. She'd come every couple of weeks with the kids. And then it slowly dwindled after she met Daniel. So yes, she was changing. I can't deny that. There was some changes.
What do you remember about the kids?
Kids, they were happy.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Yeah?
Yes, every time I seen them. They always lived at their grandmother's in Truro.
I got you, okay.
Yeah, well, at their great-grandmother's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
At Patty Carter's. That's where I used to go visit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
until this guy moved him away, and that was the last time I seen him.
I know Patty has been here a lot more times than Cindy because Patty has never missed a kid's birthday party. And when Malaya and Daniel moved into the trailer, Patty came over more than Cindy ever did. And then a while after that, when Patty wasn't able to drive or didn't want to drive, her Hayden would come over to the birthday parties and drive Patty here.
First of all, when she's talking about Hayden, when Patty didn't drive anymore, Hayden would bring her over. You could bet that until that point in time, Hayden was not allowed access to Malaya. Janie's saying, well, you know, Patty was there so much more than Cindy. Let's break that down. Let's think about it. What was Patty to Malaya and Daniel? She was the cash cow. She had provided them with a roof over their head, first of all, when they first got together. And she was still giving Malaya money. So for Daniel, that was convenient. Clearly, Daniel got to know Patty enough to know that she wasn't going to be a threat to their relationship. The fact that she allowed them to stay at her house shows you that she was accepting of their relationship to some extent. So she's sort of the concession. She's the family member that is the least threat to his control over Malaya. When it comes to Cindy, clearly there is already a history there between Cindy and Malaya. Things that weren't so perfect. So that Daniel would have undermined that. He would have done his best to undermine the relationship between Malaya and Cindy so that Cindy had less control over Malaya.
No, Malaya was not close to any of the neighbors. Nobody came here to visit Malaya, not even her friends, only her grandmother and her mother every now and then, and her half-brother, Hayden.
Janie's so good at slipping out things that she probably shouldn't say. She's trying to make it sound like Malaya is this standoffish person that, geez, even her friends don't come and visit her. And no, she's not formed any relationships with the neighbours. You can bet that she never had any opportunity to connect with any of the neighbours. You can bet that Daniel made sure of that. And you can also bet that she was not allowed to have any of her friends visit her on that property.
Malaya herself had stated that she couldn't see her friends because Daniel made her make a decision between them or him. She told me she couldn't see me because of Daniel. I couldn't know where they lived because of Daniel.
Her choosing to move in with Daniel wasn't a case of just becoming further away from her friends but not having enough time to see them. It was complete isolation. And if you go down to the second line, towards the end of the second line, this is communication between Malaya and Sunny from A Crime and Shame. And she said, Daniel gave me an ultimatum when I was pregnant with Meadow to drop my friends or he would leave me because he said they were a bad influence. And she says, so I did. He allowed me to talk to one friend, but we didn't talk often. You can bet the one friend that she was allowed to talk to would have been whoever was the least assertive friend, whoever seemed like the least threatening for Daniel. And at the top we have another message from Daniel where he said, me and Malaya never cheated on each other. We had full access to each other's phones. Of course you did. This is a classic situation And we saw this mentioned in the documents as well, I believe. Classic situation where he basically says, yeah, you can have access to my phone so you know what I'm doing. That was pure manipulation, so he had an excuse to have access to her phone, meaning he would have checked all her text messages, he would have checked who she'd been talking to. So, as innocuous as it sounds, the truth here is that he made sure he had access to her phone so he could keep an eye on what she was doing. I had wondered what the reasoning was for leaving Patty's place. So Patty actually offered Malaya her house. And we had heard that early on, that Malaya was supposed to have Patty's house, but then Patty sold the house. This is what the situation was. Malaya could have had the house, but she had to either go back to school or get a job, meaning she had to be doing something with her life, which is fair enough. When she met Daniel, he told her she wouldn't have to work, so they moved to Janie's. Malaya, can I ask you a question? Why did you stop visiting with the kids? Just thought you needed time to convince Daniel he had nothing to worry about. I remember you said he thought you were coming because you wanted to see Cody, but I don't understand because we invited him too. And her response was he never wanted me to go, and I never knew why he was controlling. Why didn't you give us your address? We would have gladly come for visits. He never wanted me to give it. I never wanted to stay there. And we have the same thing here from Hayley in the documents. Hayley said she's stepsisters with Malaya, so Lily and Jack are her niece and nephew. Hayley said Malaya had cut out her family members and she had not seen Malaya or the kids in 2 years. So we have Belinda, Henry, Connie, Hayley, all saying that Malaya had either completely cut them out or that they'd barely seen her and the children. You have Janie saying, yeah, no, Malaya's friends never came round here. You have Malaya herself saying she was given this ultimatum. Forget about your friends or forget about me.